Now, privileged access management, which is known as PAM, helps mitigate security concerns for Active Directory environments that are caused by credential theft techniques. It provides a new administrative access solution that you can configure by using the Microsoft Identity Manager, or MIM. So we have a new Bastion Active Directory forest provisioned by MIM. This Bastion forest has a special PAM trust with an existing forest. It provides a new Active Directory environment that is known to be free of any malicious activity and is isolated from an existing forest for the use of only privileged accounts. We have new processes in MIM to request for administrative privileges. So along with these new processes, there are also new workflows that are based on approval of these requests. We have new shadow security principles, or what's known as groups, or shadow groups, that are provisioned in the Bastion forest by MIM in response to administrative privilege requests. The shadow groups have an attribute that references the SID of an administrative group in an existing forest, and this allows the shadow group to access resources in an existing forest without having to change any of the access control lists. There's a new expiring links feature which enables time-bound membership in a shadow group. A user can be added to the group for just enough time that is required to perform an administrative task. The time-bound membership is expressed by a time-to-live value that is propagated to a Kerberos ticket lifetime. Along those same lines, we have Key Distribution Center, or KDC, enhancements that are built into Active Directory domain controllers. Now, this will help restrict the Kerberos ticket lifetime to the lowest possible time-to-live value in cases where a user has multiple time-bound memberships in administrative groups. So, just kind of a quick example. If you are added to a time-bound group, we'll just call it Group A, when you sign in, the Kerberos ticket granting ticket lifetime is equal to the time remaining for you in Group A. But if you are also a member of another time-bound group, and we'll just call that Group B, and that has a lower time to live than Group A, then the ticket granting ticket lifetime is equal to the time remaining for you in Group B. Okay, so it actually looks and gives you whatever the least amount is between the different groups. And we have new monitoring capabilities to help you easily identify who requests the access, what access was granted, and what activities were performed. Azure AD Join enhances identity experiences for enterprise, business, and higher education customers with improved capabilities for corporate and personal devices. We now have availability of modern settings on our corporate-owned Windows devices. Oxygen services no longer require a personal Microsoft account. They now run on users' existing work accounts to ensure compliance. Oxygen services work on PCs that are members of an on-premise Active Directory domain services domain, and PCs and devices that are joined to your Azure AD tenant, or the cloud domain. Now, some of these settings include roaming or personalization, accessibility settings, and credentials. We have backup and restore, access to the Windows Store with work account, and live tiles and notifications. We have the ability to access organizational resources on mobile devices, and so we're talking about like smartphones and tablets, that cannot be members of a Windows domain, whether they are corporate-owned or part of a bring-your-own-device program. We're able to use single sign-on to sign into Microsoft Office 365 and other organizational apps, websites, and resources. We can add a work account from an on-premise domain or Azure AD to a personally owned device that is part of a bring-your-own-device program and enjoy single sign-on to work resources via apps and websites. This helps ensure compliance with new capabilities such as conditional account control and device health attestation. Mobile device management, or MDM integration, lets you auto-enroll devices to your MDM deployment. We can set up the kiosk mode and share devices for multiple users in your organization. The developer experience lets you build apps that cater to both enterprise and personal contexts with a shared programming stack. And the imaging option lets you choose between imaging or allowing your users to configure corporate-owned devices directly during the first run experience. Microsoft Passport is a new key-based authentication approach for organizations and consumers that goes beyond passwords. This form of authentication uses credentials that are breach, theft, and phish resistant. The user signs onto the device with a biometric or personal identification number or PIN sign-in information that is linked to a certificate or an asymmetrical key pair. The identity providers validate the user by mapping the public key to the user to the ID locker and provide the sign-in information through a one-time password, phone factor, or different notification mechanism. So Active Directory has been around since Windows 2000 Server, but as you can see, just like with every other version since, Microsoft is dedicated to improving its security and its overall experience.